It's 2026. The camera market is more crowded than ever. Canon has caught up, Nikon is killing it with the Z series, and Lumix is still the king of internal specs. But you're here because you've looked at the Sony ecosystem. You've seen the lenses, the autofocus, and the resale value. But here's the problem. Buying a Sony camera right now is like walking through a minefield. If you buy the wrong body, you're stuck with an outdated menu system, overheating issues, or worse, paying for full-frame features that an APS-C camera could actually do better for half the price. Today, we're breaking down the entire Sony lineup for 2026. From the budget kings to the rip-your-marriage-apart professional rigs, we're going to find out exactly where you should put your money and which cameras you should avoid like the plague. Let's roll. Let's start with the gateway drug, the Sony ZV-E10 II. Now, I see the comments every day. Jason, $800 isn't budget. And look, I hear you. But in 2026, the under $500 market is basically dead unless you're buying a used A6000 with a scratch sensor and no warranty. If you want a camera that actually beats your iPhone 17 Pro, this is the floor. The ZV-E10 II is a 24-megapixel APS-C powerhouse. The secret here? It shares the same sensor DNA as cameras twice its price. You are getting 4K video that looks indistinguishable from a $1,600 camera. You get the product showcase mode that makes vloggers' lives easy, and it comes in black or a very clean white. Why is it cheap? Because Sony cut the corners that don't affect the image, but do affect the feel. You get the old, clunky menu system. The screen is meh in direct sunlight. The battery life is, well, you'll need 3 spares. But if you pair this with a $180 Viltrox Prime lens, your footage will look like a Netflix documentary compared to your phone. If you can stretch your budget by $500, we move into what I call the sweet spot. The Sony A6700. I've been saying this for 3 years. This is the best APS-C hybrid ever made. Period. Why? One word. IBIS, in-body image stabilization. Most people aren't walking around with a $600 DJI gimbal. They're shooting handheld. Without IBIS, your 4K footage looks like a 1990s home movie. With the A6700, it's buttery smooth. This camera actually beats some full-frame cameras in 2026. It shoots 4K at 120 frames per second. It has 10-bit 4:2:2 color science, S-Cinetone, and AI-driven autofocus that can track a bird's eye through a forest. If you're doing 50% photography and 50% video, this is the Vong top choice. Don't let the crop sensor label fool you. This thing is a beast. Now, we have to talk about the trap. In 2026, retailers are going to try to sell you older full-frame models at a discount. Specifically, the Sony A7R IV. On paper, 61 megapixels sound amazing. You think, I can crop in forever. But the A7R IV is a dinosaur in terms of usability. It uses the old Sony menu, which, let's be honest, feels like trying to program a VCR for 1985. The autofocus lacks the new AI deep learning chips, and the phone connectivity is a nightmare. If you need resolution, you go for the A7R IV or the A7CR. The A7R IV is for the pros who need dual card slots, because if one card dies at a wedding, your career is over. The A7CR is for the travel photographer who wants that 61 MP resolution in a body that fits in a fanny pack. Both have a new AI autofocus that can tell the difference between a car, an airplane, and a squirrel's left ear. Let's talk about the EDC, the everyday carry. This is the Sony A7C II. There's a huge trend in 2026 towards smaller cameras. People are tired of carrying bricks. The A7C II is basically an A7 IV that went on a diet. It's light, it's sleek, and when you pair it with a small G-series prime lens, like the 24mm or 40mm, it becomes the perfect street photography tool. Some people will point to the RX1 R3. Yes, it's smaller. Yes, it's $5,000. But you can't change the lens. For most of you, the A7C II is the logical choice. It gives you that full-frame look, that creamy background blur, without the back pain. Now, let's talk to the filmmakers. If your goal is the cine look, you have two paths. First, my personal favorite, the Sony ZV-E10. This camera is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Sony marketed it as a vlogging camera, which was a huge mistake. Inside this tiny body is the exact same sensor as the $3,500 FX3 and the A7S III. You're getting world-class low-light performance for nearly $2,000 less than the Pro Cinema line. It overheats. If you're filming a 2-hour church service or a long podcast, it will shut down. Use it for run-and-gun cinematic shorts, weddings, and music videos. It is the best small cinema camera ever made. If you need reliability, you wait for the FX3 Mark II. It's rumored for mid to late 2026. It will have a built-in fan, professional XLR inputs, and the Big 6 menu system. If you can't wait, the original FX3 is still the gold standard for Netflix-approved compact cinematography. Finally, we reach the rip your wallet, rip your marriage category. The Sony A7R IV. At $7,000, this isn't a camera. It's a piece of engineering magic. Why? The global shutter. For 100 years, cameras have red sensors line by line. This caused rolling shutter. You know, when a golf club looks like a noodle when you swing it. The A7R IV reads the entire sensor instantly. You can use a flash at any shutter speed. You can shoot at 1/80,000th of a second. You can shoot 120 frames per second in RAW with zero blackout. It is the most versatile camera ever made. Whether you're shooting the Olympics or a high-end fashion show in broad daylight, the A7R IV is the undying respect king of 2026. So, which one is for you? If you're just starting, get the ZV-E10 II. Spend the money you saved on a good microphone and a Viltrox lens. If you want the best all-rounder, the A6700 is the smart choice. It's the camera I recommend to 90% of my friends. If you want the full-frame look on a budget, look at the A7C II. If you're a video-first creator, the ZV-E10 is a cheat code for cinematic footage. If money is no object, get the A7R IV and never look back. Sony has a camera for everyone in 2026, but the most important thing isn't the body. It's the glass you put in front of it and the story you tell with it. What are you picking? Are you team crop sensor or team full frame? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more gear guides.